had already told you that they make an observation, then they form a hypothesis, and then they plan it by testing it. So today we are going to see how do scientists use tools. So for this you have to open page number 9 of your book, and we are going to start the chapter. So let's get started. And before that, I hope that you all are revising everything at your home, and I hope that you're able to understand whatever we are teaching you. I hope that you have the books and you are doing your work at home. It's important to do homework at home and to do your work at home, because if you're not going to match up to the lectures, I mean, if you're not going to study every day, and if you're not going to revise your homework, then it's going to be difficult for you to catch up to us. So it's better that every day you should revise every lesson which is taught to you, and if you are having any problems, then you can consult the school, and we are going to make sure that we clear up your queries. So thank you. So let's begin today's lecture. So scientists use tools to help with their tests. They also wear protective clothing to make sure they are safe, because there are different type of scientists in the world, but there are some scientists who handle lots of different chemicals, very dangerous chemicals, and a lot they don't know what they are dealing with. They don't know what kind of equipment or so the kind of product they are dealing with. So what they need to do is they need a protective clothing. So they have a special kind of clothing which they wear when they perform certain tasks or certain experiments. Um, after making a hypothesis, they conduct a test, and they may wear protective clothing, just like doctors also wear protective clothing when they are operating a patient, or when they are treating a special kind of a patient. So it looks something like this. As you can see in this picture, this is a protective clothing. Uh, you can see the glasses worn by the scientist. You can see the glove which is worn by this scientist, and this is a lab coat which is worn by the scientist. So these are protective clothing that they have to wear in order to protect themselves from different dangerous chemicals or dangerous organisms. Okay, so some tools help you to see things clearer. Light microscopes help you to see very small objects by using light source and lenses or mirrors inside the microscope. So these are microscope. You can see through these lenses, and you will put place a slab over here, and you can see through these three lenses. They are going to zoom into you. Also, there are light microscopes which zoom in the object and also throw the light on the object, which makes the thing things bigger and easier for you to see. A hand lens, this is a hand lens, or magnifying glass is one lens with a handle. As you can see, this is one lens and this is a handle, and you can see through my magnifying glass, and you can simply, if you are going to see through this lens, this is mirror, through this glass you are going to see bigger objects in front of you. A magnifying box, as you can see in this picture, has a lens in its lid. It also has a lens in its lid, through which you can see different things. So if you look over here, magnified tools make things look bigger. Experiment with a magnifying glass or box. Move them closer, and then farther away to see objects getting bigger and smaller. So when we are in the school, we are going to see that if we get a different magnifying tool, we are going to see that if we are how they make things smaller or bigger when we are going to do this activity. But if you have any magnifying tool at your home, you can perform this activity at your home as well. So microscopes are very powerful magnifiers. Look at low blood. Look at below. Wait. Look at how blood looks through a microscope. So you can see how blood looks through a microscope. If you're going to just take a tiny drop of a blood, and if you're going to put it in a slab, little length, little, what do you call that? They are called slides, and if you're going to put a drop of blood on the slides, and if you're going to see through the microscope, then you're going to see something like this. You're going to see this is your blood from a microscope, not your blood, but somebody's blood from a microscope. If you're going to see blood through a microscope, this is what it looks like. It's a lot of cells together make blood. So this is how your blood looks when you see through a microscope. So now there are various units to measure different things, and we are going to study about them. So anything that you measure has a unit if you are going to measure, and we're going to read about it. So the first one is mass. The pan balance has a pan on either side to measure the mass of something. Put the object in one pan and weigh weights on the other side until they are balanced. Then you will know the mass of the object. The mass of measures grams. So mass. So if you want to measure the mass of something, basically we don't say weight. We are measuring the mass. When we say weight, we are not measuring weight. We are actually measuring mass. So if you are going to measure the mass of something, then you are going to see the pan, or you are going to see like a tarazu, which is called, it's also called weighing scale in English. Okay, so if you want to measure some mass of something, which you call weight, it is mass of the body or mass of something, then you have to take away measuring scale, and you have to put the equipment or the object into one side, and you have to put the different weights on that. When these two become equal, then that becomes the mass of the object. Depending if you're going to put in 5 kilos in this, and there's object which is of 5 kilos, if it gets balanced, then that object is of 5 kilos. So the mass of the object will be 5 kilos, and we write grams, which means 5 grams. The object will be 5 grams. And there are many different type of weighing scales available nowadays. You can simply there are digital, there are different other various new type of weighing scales available, which you can by which you can easily measure the weight of mass of the object. These were used in the previous time. They're still used. If you're going to buy vegetables or fruits from the market, and people use this weighing scale to measure the weight of the object. If you go in with your mother or father next time for shopping, and if they are measuring the weight of something, then you have to look carefully how much the weight is, because whatever they put inside this, the way the weights, and if it gets balanced with this, then it becomes the weight of this mass of the object. So the second one is volume. A graduated cylinder has units of volume marked on its sides in milliliters. We use a graduated cylinder to measure the volume of liquids. If you want to see, there are instruments like this in which we see, like for example, an injection. You will see that there are different numbers written in a syringe like 1, 2, 3. Let me show you a picture. This is a graduating cylinder. If you're going to put something like put water or other chemicals inside this jar, then you can measure the volume. Like you can see the numbers written over here. Whatever how much how much water you put in will be the volume. For example, you have to put 3 millimeters of water, 3 ml of water, then this is going to be 300 ml. If you want to put water till here, it is going to be 3 milliliter, sorry, milliliter. 300 milliliter, or 350 milliliter, 400 milliliter. That's how we measure the volume of something. If you are going to see the bottles of Pepsi or any other fizzy drinks, then you can see that the volume is written there. That this is 1.5 liter bottle, this is 2 liter bottle, this is a 0.5 liter bottle, or something like that. So that is the volume of the liquid. If you want to look in all the liquids, for example, milk box, or a fizzy drink box or a juice box, the volume of the liquid is written. So we measure the volume of the liquids only, not of the solids things. Then length. The length, as you know, the length, how much long the thing is. So that is the length of the object. Tape measures and rulers measure length and width. So you must have seen an inchy tape, or you must have seen other measuring tape measures like this or this at your homes, through which we can measure the length of anything, like length of a table, the length of a chair, the length of a refrigerator, length of your clothes. We can take the length and width as well. The both things tell us about the length and weight. We can also weigh the weight of something, width of something. This is length. If you see this object, this is going to be the vertical, is going to be the length, and this is going to be the width. How long the thing is, or how wide the thing is. How long, it is very long, but it is not wide. This graduating scale is not wide, but this is long. So we can measure the length and width of something. And the units of measurements are used either millimeters, centimeter, meters, or inches and feet. So length, the units of length can be millimeters, that it is this millimeter length long, or this millimeter wide, or it can be centimeters, this millimeter. You can see all this in the measuring tapes. The units are written on the measuring tape in this empty tape. If you're going to, this must be present at your home. If you're going to open it and you're going to see that, then you can do it at, you will look at it on the unit of it is written on your inchy tape, or the tape measures centimeters and meters, or inches and feet. These are all the units that can be used for measuring the length of an object. Then time. Time, as you know, that this is very common. Clocks and stopwatches are tools that measure time. So clocks can measure time, watches can measure time, you know, and tools that measure time. Time, you know, the base unit of time is the second. So 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Base means that we measure everything with second. Is the smallest unit of time is second. So it is we measure one time is equal to 60 seconds, and 1 hour is equals to 60 minutes. So you can measure the time at that. There are 1 hour. 1 hour is 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, and 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Below 6 seconds, we don't measure time usually. This is the base unit. So temperature. Thermometers measure the temperature of weather, hot objects and cold objects. So when you get ill, when you get sick, when you get fever, so your parents, they use a thermometer to check the temperature of your body. It check how warm your body is, or how hot or cold your body is. The units of measurement are used are degrees. So when we say that you have a fever, you have a 30-degree fever, you have a 40-degree fever, or you have a 100-degree fever, which is usually very high. When a person is above 90 degree hot, then that means that he is not well. So when a person is a lot more colder, then that means that person is not well, because our body has to maintain a certain temperature. We can't be very warm and we can't be very cold, because then a person is sick if it goes beyond or above a certain temperature. So we use thermometer to measure temperatures, and the unit is degrees or Celsius. Scientists usually measure in degrees Celsius. So when we say that you have a temperature of 100 degree, we just don't say 100 degree. Normally we say 100 degree, but we say 100 degrees Celsius. But in the US, they use degree Fahrenheit. So in US, they use a different unit, which is Fahrenheit, which we don't usually use here. We use degree Celsius. If you're going to see doctor telling you that you have a 100 degree Celsius temperature, it's very rarely people will say that you have this Fahrenheit temperature, because this is the unit that is used in America. But it is still the unit of temperature. These two are the units of the temperature, but are marked most on thermometers. But if you're going to see in thermometer, you're still going to see Fahrenheit, which we don't say, but they are still mentioned in thermometers. Okay. So students, I hope that you have understood all the units of different things, and how do we measure different things, how do scientists measure different things. And I hope that you want to revise this lecture at home, and you have to learn the units of these these measurements, and you have to learn about them, and you have to revise them, and you have to see how practically they are, how can you measure the temperature of something, the time, the length, the volume, the mass. If you are able to do this at home, if you're going to measure the gas of something, if you have a pen balance, or if you have any other weighing machine, you can measure the mass of yourself. You can measure a volume of liquid if you have a graduated cylinder or anything. If you can, this must be present at your home. This tape measures. You can measure the length and width of your book, or you can measure your height and write it down. You can see time. You can measure the temperature of your body. So, which you have to write down with degrees, with the units. You have to write down the mass with its units: grams, volume, milliliters, length, millimeters, centimeters, meters, inches of feet, time, minutes, seconds, or um, uh, hours, thermometer or temperature. You have to write degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit, which we don't really use. So this is all for today. I hope you're going to understand this, and I hope you're able to understand everything that I teach you. But if you're not able to understand, then you can please contact the school administration. We're going to help you. So please revise your lecture at home, learn about this at home, and I'm going to see you in the next lecture. Take care.